In this lesson, I wanted to talk about custom metadata types. Before I do, I want to talk about metadata. In case you are not familiar with the term metadata, it is data about other data. This whole course we've been working with metadata. So all these classes are really metadata. You can even see the /meta within when we create these different classes. And when we create fields, objects, classes, triggers, change settings, we are updating and creating metadata. As we have deployed some of the classes, we have also been deploying metadata. Now, as far as custom metadata, there is a trailhead on custom metadata that goes through custom metadata quite well. However, since I would like to use custom metadata later on, I wanted to cover it here as well. And custom metadata is a custom object that can be used to define metadata for an application or metadata for pretty much anything that we want. The benefit of using custom metadata is that custom metadata records can be deployed. Unlike regular custom objects where each record would need to be loaded in each environment separately, custom metadata can be added to deployments. As an example, let's say we had a list of profiles. Each profile was categorized. Based on that profile a user has, and along with the category that that profile is associated to, a class could take several different actions based on that category. This categorization could change, so we don't want to hardcode the category a profile is in. So if, as an example, if let's say the category is sales, but then later on the profile category gets changed to service, there could be change at any point in time. So if we were to hardcode anything within any of the Apex classes stating that this category or this profile is that category, then we'd have to make all those changes again. And so instead, that's where custom metadata comes in. And in order to create custom metadata, I'm going to open the org. And then I'm going to go to in setup. If you type in custom or metadata, you'll see custom metadata types. And right now it's empty. We're going to create a new custom metadata type. I'm going to call this profile grouping. And then the plural would be profile groupings. And then you can see it looks like the objects as well, custom objects. Then we are going to add a field. This one I'll do a pick list. It could be a text or a pick list. And then it's going to be category. And then the value we'll do admin, sales, and service. We'll save. And then from there is where you can create the record, which would actually be deployed as well. So if I go into manage grouping or manage profile groupings and then click on new, then I can create a label. This one will be for the system administrator profile. We'll save a new. We'll do another one as well. I will do the custom sales profile. And then we'll change the category from admin. We'll do sales. And then save. Now that we have these, we can also bring them into our project. We could bring them in here, which we may do a little bit later when we're talking about a little bit more in regards to deploying and retrieving data. But the main focus right now is to focus on custom metadata and how we can use them within Apex classes. And so what we could do now is we can query them just like we can any other custom object. However, instead of the __c at the end indicating a custom object, it's __MDT, which is indicating the metadata type. So let's have a list of profile grouping, and then it's MDT, and we'll call it the PG list. And then we can do select. There's a label, a master label, and then we created a new category from profile grouping. And this is going to query it. We also, instead of using the select query, we can do a list. There are custom metadata type methods that you could use, and so this is one of the methods. I'm just going to grab this. Actually, I'm going to take all this and copy and remove the select. And one of the methods that you can do is called getAll. Now getAll returns a map of the ID and all the metadata records. So then, since it's a map, we can use .values and get the values. So that way it's the list of the groupings. Now both of these would work, as we can run them, and I have to run them separate since I'm using the same name. So that worked correctly. And that worked as well. If you wanted to, you could debug the list, but we'll be going through the list with a for loop, so we don't need to if you don't want to. So then we want to do a for loop, and then we want the metadata, so PG, and then go through the list. And now what we want to do is we want to get the user's current profile and get the name, check to see what the name is compared to the name within the list to get the category. So to do that, we can do user info. Actually, first we'll do a string for the name. We'll call it profile name. And then we need to do a select. And I'll remove the user info for right now. We want to select name from profile, where ID equals, and then this is where we use the user info. The user info is a class that we can call for getting information that's associated to the current user, because everything is ran through the context of a user. And then what I want to do is I want to get the profile ID. So I can get the current profile ID of the user. So now I got the name. Next, what I can do is I can get the category for that. And I just realized this should not be in the for loop. This should be out of the for loop. So we'll move that out. And then we got the profile name. And then we can check if PG dot label equals profile dot name, and then we'll just debug and get the category. So you could assign the category to some other variable and reference that variable outside. So the PG dot category. And then we run all of this. Oh, I forgot to do the dot name at the end. So we need to get the name of it and not the profile itself. And as we can see, debug got admin. So it went through, we got the profile name, And when we did that, then we went through a for loop to go through the metadata list from the label, because the profile name is not like a developer name. It does have spaces instead of underscores. So we used the label of it, which had just system administrator instead of system underscore administrator. And it equals the profile name. So then we were able to get the category for the profile. And that's how you can use custom metadata and no longer hard code information.